read out. He has gone out. He has gone out. Whilst I read out his portfolio. So Victor, who is known as the strategist, was educationally trained as a health educator and professionally certified as a life and behavioral change and productivity coach. Victor is recognized in working with people and organizations, utilizing proven and professional life coaching, neuralistic, linguistic programming tools and techniques to transition them. Go and call Temilola for me. I'm so sorry, guys. To transition them from their current reality to their desired productivity. Victor is the executive director at Talent Business School, an African startup premier business school that empowers African startup entrepreneurs with relevant business knowledge specifically focused on structure in order to increase their business performance and productivity. Victor is experienced in the critical analysis of human and organizational behavior at diverse levels and how it directly affects performance and productivity. He's exceptionally skilled at working with startup business owners. Victor is currently specialized in these 4 key areas: life coaching, training, consulting, and strategy. Some of his exceptionalities include life coaching. Please attend to your sister. I don't want her to come in here again. Thank you very much. Neuro-linguistic programming, brand strategy and structuring, consulting, public speaking, branding, thought dynamics, organizational planning, program execution, goal setting, productivity coaching, creative leadership, behavioral change, workplace productivity, communications and relationship management. Victor is an alumnus of the prestigious OLCAD Academy, that is Olushola Lanre Coaching Academy. He coaches individuals and organizations across diverse sectors and industries. Victor is the executive director at Talent Business School, which is so we had said that, and is accomplished in setting up Nigeria's first life coaching clinic platform, the Life Mastery Clinic, which was designed using coaching, NLP and therapy to help individuals recreate their life outcomes by gaining mastery over their own lives. Victor has been featured on several media platforms, including Channels TV, Galaxy TV, Classic FM, Radio Nigeria, Unilag FM, Nigeria Info, and the Beats FM. Thank you very, very much, Victor, for honoring us today. You're welcome to the Covenant Nation Community Group. Basically, we have like about 3 groups are here, so sort of split. But this is the B3 initiative, but then we have guys from other teams joining as well, because there's a lot of value from your session and we all want to learn, and we are collaborating anyway, you know, so we're having different teams coming for this, for our learning session. So welcome. So let me just make you an administrator. Do you have like a slide you want to share with us, or do you just want to talk us through?
No slides.
What?
No slides. I don't have any slides I'm sharing.
No slides. Okay, so the floor is yours.
All right. Thank you so much, Bumi, for that very long profile. I didn't even know Bumi is going to set me up like this, trying to read out such a very long profile. Just say Victor, the strategist, is here. Start talking to us, you know. So I'd like to first of all say thank you so much, Bumi. Right. This is not a cliche that people usually do when they want to speak on other people's platform, where you say things like, "Oh, I'm happy to be here. Thank you so much. It's a privilege. It's an honor," and all that stuff. So it's deep down from my heart, you know. I'm actually saying thank you for allowing me to be here, and I also thank everyone on this session right now. You could have been somewhere else, right? But you're here, okay? And I really want to thank everybody. I do not take your presence for granted, and hopefully we can get to connect physically. Interesting times that we're in. All right, so with no further ado, we're just going to dive into our session today. So there's a lot of time lost already, you know, technical glitches and everything. So we're just going to dive in. But before that, just give me a minute. Let me be sure that my microphone is working, because I'm kind of recording this session. Okay. Sorry, my bad. I record on my session. right. Okay, so we're good. Okay, so the first thing that I want to say in this conversation is if everybody tap on their Google, right, and then probably punch in fundamentals of human resource, okay, you're going to find a whole lot of resources to read up. In fact, a whole business school on that. So I am going to be unfair to everyone to come in here and tell you stuff that you can easily pull off Google after this session. There's really no point to do that because everybody can basically access Google and find out that information. So what I want to be able to do in this session, right, is to demystify the subject matter. What Bumi has set me up to come and talk about today, and I'm going to try to demystify that so that I'm going to end up achieving one basic objective, which is to change your psychology around the subject matter. Because when you look at it, there's nothing deep about that subject. So it's not a deep subject. It's not something deep, right? So fundamentals of human resources management. There is nothing deep about that. I want to believe that everybody on this session, entry-level professionals, middle-level professionals. So there's nobody trying to say, oh, I'm still in school or something. So which means that is not a deep concept. Okay, so what I want to be able to work on in the next few minutes is to rewire our psychology around that subject. So I'll just put one caveat that I like to give. I mean, if you've ever been in any of my sessions, especially my speaking sessions, I'd like to say that everything I'm going to tell us here today, or the conversation that we're going to have here today, will not make any sense. So you might want to put that down somewhere. Will not make any sense if you don't execute on that. If you don't say, this is what I'm going to do as a result of what I've heard today. This is the adjustment that I'm going to make in my life. So from having interacted with over 3,000 entrepreneurs and thousands of corporate professionals, right? Speaking sessions, coaching sessions, strategy sessions, mentoring sessions, I've found one consistent pattern. People do not change their behavior. People know too many stuff. I mean, a couple of us on this, session are HR professionals, probably know a lot of stuff around HR, but you're not doing as much as you know. So that's to say that nothing will make sense here in your career path if you don't say, or if you don't identify, this is what I'm going to do. These are the adjustments that I'm going to make within my life. And it is not knowledge that is power. It is behavior that is power. So if you don't behave according to what you know, you are not going to be powerful. And I'll give, a simple analogy I'd like to always give. If I say, let me pick a random name here so I begin to connect with everybody. Okay, so if I say Nebechi, I'm going to give to you a $1,000. I put into Nebechi's account $1,000, right? And then I tell Nebechi, oh, I've put in $1,000 into your dollar account or something, and she has that information, okay? And Nebechi, wants to shop something online or is trying to pay for something. Now she has the knowledge that I've got $1,000 and what she's trying to pay for, maybe say $500. Now, if Nebechi do not make any action in line with that information, that $1,000 is going to be sitting pretty in her account, unutilized. So what happens is for every session, I mean, in this era of COVID, in fact, Zoom, we have been Zoomified. Every day, I just got off a Zoom session, to come in here. After here, I'm going on to another session, so we have just been Zoomified, right? Every single thing, Zoom. Any small thing, someone opens camera, let's start talking on Zoom, right? So there's a lot of knowledge that was soaking in this period, right? So what's going to happen post-COVID or after every of these knowledge sessions is what you do at the end of it. You might not do everything that the person has said, but you might discover, yeah, Lauretta zoomified. You must discover what it is that I'm going to do. You've got to. So as I'm talking right now, you have your iPads, your notebooks, whatever, you want to write down what you're going to, whatever jumps at you, you want to write it down. This is what areas I'm going to make adjustment within my life. Trust me, it is what you do, because at the end of the day, knowledge or the truth the truth can set you free, but will not set you free. It is the truth that you know and practice that will set you free. All right. So caveat done. So let's get into the session. So it's important that I need to lay that tracks so that nobody will say, oh, I attended his session. Oh, I was in that session. I mean, someone told me sometimes ago, Victor, when I was coaching this person, he said, I've attended several masterclass. I paid for my personal development in that year was 2.1 million. I was like, oh, wow, congrats. That's really huge. I'm really proud of you for that. So where are you on your goals? 0. So I told her something that it is not the problem of those that you paid for their sessions. You are your own problem. It's either you don't even know what is valuable to you, which is another conversation, or you have not behaved in line with what you know. So today we're looking at the fundamentals of human resource. Like I said earlier, what I want to try to do, right, is to change our psychology around human resource. Now let's look at that subject matter. Fundamentals of human resource. So we know what fundamental is, which is basics, right? Which is, we can say the genesis of that, all right? We can say the starting point, starting point, for human resources management. Now let's get to the other part of the subject matter, which is human resources management. So human being. Resources talks about what you utilize to be able to achieve a certain result. And then management talks about how you are able to channel that, how you are able to harness that particular thing. Either a thing or a person or anything, how you're able to harness something, how you're able to lead something, right? How you're able to convert something to create another thing. So we can say human resources management is how you're able to, channel human beings as a resource tool to create organizational outcome, to increase organizational productivity and profitability, right? So I like to throw in a quick question. If you're in HR, if you're in HR niche, just type your cognate years of experience. If it's 1, say 1. It can be 0. You can say 1. You can say 1 month. So if it's 1 year, 1 year, 1 month, 1 month, 5 years, 5 years, 10 years. So let's just do that quickly. Let me be sure that we're still here. So I like you to drop your, if I get 5, I move. I like to drop your coordinate experience. How long have you been in HR? For those that are in HR niche, just drop it. How many years, how many months? Let me see it in the chat box, please. Seven months. Okay, 1 year, 11 months, 1 year. I need up to 5. Got him for, okay, 1 year, 6 months. Lauretta, thank you. Yotunde, thank you. 2 years. Thank you. All right, fantastic. 34 months. This person wants to give me a headache. My head is now beginning to headache me. 34, what is 34 months? 34 months, 12 months, 1 year, another 12 months. So it's 1 year, 1 year, how many? 1 year, something, before my head begins to headache me. All right, so thank you, everybody. Thank you. Ayatini, thank you, Nebechi, thank you, Koju, thank you, Kike. Great. So there's an average of, excuse me, there's an average of, let's say, 1 to 3 years HR practitioners here. So great. So it means that before you are considered no longer a baby in something, you must have attained the 5-year mark. You must have attained the 5-year mark, before you leave that level. So I'm using business to measure this. So once your business have done 5 years, so it means that you've gained some level of balance. And I mean, it's often used in marriage as well. Once you're able to survive that first 5 years of marriage, I mean, you can just fire down, right? So great. So it means that we're all between the zero, basically between the 0 to 5 year mark, which is incredible. The first question I want to ask everyone on this session is, why are you in HR? I'd like you to ponder on that, right? Why are you in HR? What am I doing here? How did I get here? That is the genesis of our conversation. How did I get here? So did you dabble into HR? Did God tell you in a dream? So since I'm going to be using Nebechi, my daughter, go into HR. Is that how you got into HR? Or you just saw Bumi looks so it's so sexy to be in HR. Look at Bumi looking up peng and everything. I like to be like Bumi in the next 10 years, and let me just do HR. Or is it that your parents wanted you to just do HR? Or there's this pressure on LinkedIn. Once you open LinkedIn, turn left, turn right, HR professionals are everywhere. It almost looks like HR people own LinkedIn, It almost looks like that. So is it because you saw it on LinkedIn, or you need to pepper some people, you need to join that gang that peppers people. Oh, Shebi, you look for a job. I'm waiting for you in this company. Shebi, I'm the HR, So start musing within yourself and asking yourself that question, which is, how did I get into HR? And that's the first conversation. That's the first question that I want you to really answer. Because at the end of the day, and there's a reason why I want to answer that question, because HR is not something, so there are some profession that are actually calling. It's not, so it's a calling. And I'll give one. Doctor is not just a job or a profession. It's a calling, right? So thank you, Bumi. So HR, Bumi took that word out of my mouth. HR is not just a profession. It's a calling. So what doctors do to patients is what because I'm sort of like in that field, even if I don't like to identify with HR, because for personal reasons, but I'm in that field as well, right? So HR is a calling. It's not a job title. Oh, do you know I'm the head of HR in XYZ? It's not a job title. It is first a calling. So you might say, Victor, but so what if I'm not called into it? So what if nobody told me? How do they call people into HR? Is it by saying my son, or my daughter? No, what I mean by that is beyond just waking up, right, and just dabbling into it. You've got to understand your why. You've got to understand why you're in it. So it's not a job that you just do to pass time, you just mark time and all of that. I believe I'm speaking to people that want to really advance on this field. I've been in this human capital development for over 5 years, right? And I can say one word, is highly draining. Forget about the whole, it's highly draining. And that's one word I can use to describe it. It can be fulfilling, if it's something that is connected with your inner essence, but it's draining. Okay. So why I ask that question is you've got to, first of all, discover, find out yourself, self-awareness, right? So if you actually dabble into HR, that's fine. You can now begin to reevaluate. So after this session, I'm expecting that some people will either begin to recalibrate, their career path, or begin to reevaluate their purpose of being in HR. So it's not, forget about, it's sexy to sit on the table to interview people to say, oh, you're hired, you're fired, we just look at HR, that those team of people that, that's how they see this in where I currently work, that's how they see all of us. Oh, the people that practically just, walk down, check, oh, you're doing your job, are you doing your job? Oh, I can fire in next minute. Those are the perks that comes with it. But the real work is a draining work. It's going to drain your energy. So that means if it's not in tune with your internal psychology, which is your real essence, you are going to be frustrated as a HR person. So, because really, one of the things that I like with my sessions is not to try to double things. It's to tell you the reality of things so that you can plot your own map, right? So it's going to, you are going to be exasperated. You're going to be drained. But guess what? If it has a connection with your internal essence, so you've got to ask, who am I? And it's important. You see, this is not, it's not admin work, or it's, I mean, it's not finance that you can just, I mean, you can just literally get up and just start doing account balancing and sheets and all that thing, right? In HR, you're not working with things, you're working with people, human beings. And what any field that involves working directly with human beings, you've got to really be careful about it. Every single day, people are going to be coming in contact with you every single day. So, which is why people just say HR, they remove the human and be doing the resources. It starts with human first before the resources. What are you going to manage? No, let's be real. Human resources management. What are you managing? What are you managing exactly? Because if you're managing processes and things, you're not a HR. You are just an administrative person. That's admin. So you need to understand the psychology of human beings. One book I recommend at this point is everybody on the session. If you've not read that book, go read Tim LaHaye, Why People Act the Way They Do. Why you act the way you do. If you've not read that book, go read it. It's an amazing book. And HR is not a destination, it's a journey. Even Bumi has not gotten to the end of human resource. With the plenty years of experience that she's garnered over the years, she's not gotten to the end. It's a journey. Like it's almost an everlasting journey. And in beginning to ask that first question, right, I want to also begin to look at, there are core 7 areas, you know, in HR operations, in human resource. So if you understand, and so that is why you really can't just dabble. I wish I could share my story, you know, had time. You can't just dabble into it. I understood 5 years ago when I was, you know, many years ago when I was in university, right? I understood that, you know, I was interested in harnessing and developing other people to create their own success. And I didn't know what that was called. I didn't know what path I'm really going to venture in, you know, to be able to drive that purpose. So it's not something that you're just getting. So if you want to do this long term, now if you're doing it for, oh, I just want to keep body and soul together, no problem. So you can just put earpods like me, play your best music and just, you know, while away time, because this session is really not going to be for you. Because it's a long-term journey. It's a long-term journey. And there are 7 core areas in human resources, in HR, right? 7 basic areas. And if you don't understand your own path, how exactly would you know where to fit in? Now, I function in one of those core areas, which is learning and development, right? I mean, if you ask me to sit and hire people, I'll probably be emotional about it. I mean, the day I conducted hiring for a certain firm, I was, it was just, I mean, it was, I wouldn't say it was a mess, but I almost gave everybody the job. I almost gave everybody the job because it wasn't my core area. It wasn't my niche. It wasn't what I was wired for. So we have recruitment and selection, that's talent attraction, performance management, learning and development, succession planning, HR information system, HR data and analytics. So if you're, say for instance, you love numbers, you love data and all that stuff, you might want to look at, oh, should I build my career path into HR data and analytics? And we have to be strategic with mapping out our career in the HR. Because when people just say, I'm in HR, what do you mean by that? What is HR is broad. You can't just, HR means what? What is your core? Like for me, I'm in HR, learning and development. Okay? I'm in HR, performance management and improvement. Right? So hiring and firing, well, that's not my core. Data analytics, that's not my core. Information systems, that's not my core. So this is a good time between the 0 to 5 year mark. It's the time where you test and taste. It's the time where you test, right? And then taste, which is you're dabbling a lot. So you might want to try different, let me try, recruitment and selection, or let me try performance, or let me try L&D. You want to find out where you're going to major in. So if you ask Bumi has the core. Now it's okay to know a little about different areas of HR, but you must major somewhere. You must be known for one thing. So thankfully, it's a church community platform. So I'm permitted to quote scriptures, right? I'm unapologetically going to do that, okay? So, when Jesus went to visit Mary and Martha, okay, thank you, Bumi. When Jesus went to visit Mary and Martha, Martha was busy trying to boil rice, trying to dice the carrot, trying to shred the beef, trying to bring out the butter, trying to fry the hot dog. Trying to do all of those things. Guess what? She was doing all of that for Jesus. And then she comes out, Master, can't you ask Mary to come and help me out here? I'm doing all the work alone. And Jesus said something. Mary has found that thing which is needful, one thing, right? And then she has held onto that. It's not going to be taken away from her. So Martha was busy trying to do all of HR. But Mary has found that one thing. So as you begin to get into the 5 year mark, for those of us that are close to 5 year mark, you've done 2 years, 3 years, you might also asking yourself, where exactly am I going to position myself? And it's not something you can't ask Google. The funniest thing about your essence, you can't go and ask Google, what's my essence? You can't do that. You can't say, oh, Idanesi, what's your essence? Oh, this is your essence. Oh, let me see if I can borrow from. You can't borrow, you can't copy. There's no copying. You've got to sit in with yourself and begin to ask yourself some critical questions around your essence. What are you wired for? So if you double into HR, like I said earlier, it's fine. It's now time to do real HR work. Because look at it this way, it is God giving you an opportunity to transform a life. I'll always tell people that are in hiring and firing, because that's where the power is. This hiring, that's where most of the power is. In my undergraduate days when I went for some job interviews and everything, I see how most of these, recruiters just behave. And I just wonder, did you dabble into this? You don't understand what you're doing? That every human person you meet in this field, it's God's opportunity for you to transform that person. Whether you're having a conversation around hiring somebody, recruiting somebody, getting to, which is why I'm so incredibly grateful whenever I get to talk to people. We trivialize talking to people. We trivialize that a lot. And thank God for COVID, it has made us to begin to appreciate the people in our lives. And that's what, when you look at it, that's what everything in HR is about the human person. So you got to understand the psychology of the human being. How do they think? How do they reason? How do they process things? And that brings me to the conversation of emotional intelligence. You really cannot succeed in this field, no matter whatever arm you choose, without emotional intelligence, without understanding how to harness people. So when you look at by 2025, where do you want to be in the HR field? What do you want to have achieved for yourself? So the fundamental of human resource begins with you. Who am I? So what problem was I born to solve? You need to find out self-awareness. Your journey to anything begins with the clarity of self. So it's a time to begin to reflect and ask yourself, why am I in HR? What am I essentially doing here? And then when you're able to go through that journey, you begin to look at the second question, which is, where should I pitch my tent? I've looked at 7 areas, where should I pitch my tent? Where am I going to position myself based on the understanding of who I am? Based on that understanding. When they say, love what you do what you love, it looks like a motivational cliche. Yeah, we've bastardized it, right? So there's a lot of flip side conversation around that. I mean, when you're starting out your career, you might want to do the things that you hate so that you can get onto things that you love, right? But again, once there is no passion in passion is required to do stuff. So you must be able to, there has to be a link with passion. I understand that we've also bastardized passion and all of that, follow your passion and all those things. But I'm not here to talk about following your passion. I'm here to talk about the fact that there has to be, because the truth of the matter is, you're likely to succeed in a career path if your internal psychology agrees with that. You are likely to succeed in a career path if your internal psychology agrees with that. So you need to ask yourself, as Lauretta, what wire joins me and HR together? As Oluyemi, what wire joins me and HR together? Where is the connection? As Lolade that I am, where is the connection? As Oluyemi, where is the connection? As Bukumi, where is the connection? There has to be that connection. And guess what? You've got to find it. You've got to find it. So I actually said something. I once attended an interview that I felt so down on myself and my abilities. Yeah, I could not answer some of the questions, but they made me leave a no fit right there immediately. I had to promise myself through God I would develop myself and meet those guys again in the future. I told you, please calm down. Don't do tit for tat. Yeah, I understand, I understand what you're trying to do. And it's very painful. Listen, you can be on the board of hiring and you didn't take the person, but you have increased their confidence. Listen, I mean, in my personal brand, when I hire interns to work with me, right, I end up referring them to work with some other people, because when I evaluate them and I realize that, oh, you really want to work with me because maybe you want to brag that, oh, you're working with a strategist or something, but I've calibrated your internal psychology. You do not fit in with mine, so I can refer to someone that, you are valuable, but not to me. You're valuable to another person, but not to me. So I'm really sorry about that. So these are the kind of things that we must now begin to change. The truth of the matter is, Bumi might not want to agree with me, or she might. More than half of people in HR have attitudinal problems. Yeah, They've got attitudinal problems. So I'm asking myself, why are you even in HR? You've got a lot of issues. I mean, why are you in HR? Do you really understand what HR is? I mean, you've got attitudinal problems, serious attitudinal problems, you know? And then what happens is, it's garbage in, garbage out. That's why, guys, we've got to start with us. I can't see. I wish I can just jump into where we are and get this into everybody. You can't give what you don't have. So when they say evil communication corrupts good manners, it's energy field. So the energy that you carry on the inside is what you emit. And that's why nobody can make me feel bad. I've not seen anybody. I mean, maybe in the last 3 years, maybe in the past 5 years, I mean, somebody could, but now with the way I've programmed my mind, my psychology, with the tools I have, you can't make me feel bad. Because I've literally understood how to be in charge of my emotions. But not everybody has that kind of ability. So it is who we are on the inside that we bring into HR. See, there is no magic around it. It is who you are. And HR is more behavioral than cognitive. It's not about going to MBA in London. It's not about going to MBA in ISA Business School. It's not about that. People will forget everything you said to them, but they will never ever forget how you made them feel. Whenever someone comes in contact with me, I personally think that every day we're doing HR, every day. You jump on a bus, how do you speak to the conductor? You jump on, I mean, every time I jump on Uber, I ensure it became a behavioral pattern for me. I give them business, I mean, I've given quite a lot of them business ideas. Oh, so so I want to ask, why are you doing this? I've met masters, I've met PhD students riding Uber. I'm telling you the truth. I said, why are you doing this? You know, okay, sir, this is what happened. And then they are so vulnerable, give me all their story. And then I, in turn, you know, have a quick session with them. I'm like, oh, wow, thank you so much. I'm going to go implement this. Some just try to keep tabs with me offline. So I give, oh, you can follow me here or, you know, chat back with me and all of that. Everybody, what we are doing every single day is HR. How you relate with your siblings is HR. How you relate with your parents, HR. How you relate with people on the streets in your estate where you live, you know, is HR. You're driving on the road, how you conduct yourself with other drivers on the road is HR. Every single day we're doing HR. We're managing human beings. We're having to deal with grumpy people. We're having to deal with crazy attitudes, which is why reading that book is really critical. Why you act the way you do. So I think some people that are in HR, for me, they need to be sent back to the school of behavioral management, understanding how to manage their own behavior. It's really important. So like I said earlier, I'm not here to, as I begin to, you know, tie the clincher here in this conversation, I'm not here to bore us with some Google stats and say, I'm not having a slide and say, okay, so fundamentals of HR, number one, you know, HR is this. Number two, that's not, at the end of the day, you go with cognitive abilities that has no direct impact in your behavioral, you know, disposition. And guess what? Productivity in anything, it's about behavioral change. There are some behaviors you need to stop, and there are some behaviors you need to start doing. So I'd like us to do a simple exercise, you know, as I wrap up. Decide that this month, I'm going to practice HR. Like I said, it's not a job, it's a calling. You are the head of HR in First Bank of Nigeria. No doubt, I won't argue with you. I'll just come to your family, call out your siblings, tell me about this person, and that's it. Tell me about this person. That means HR begins from the people you have access to. You're trying to manage external people. You've not even managed yourself and the people around you. And this is not a business school. It's not a business school technique. It's life hacks. Can you be a little more nicer? Can you be a little more, can we bring back the human in the resource? How do you relate with your siblings? How do you relate with your friends? How do you relate with people around you? That person that gets on your nerve, how do you manage that person? And that's the beginning of HR, really, if you ask me. That's the beginning of HR. The beginning of HR is not, I have CIPM. And that's what's happening on LinkedIn, right? Victor Onyekere, AICP, PHPR, SSPP, CACI, APII, SSSI. That's what we're adding to our names. PDSSD. And then when AJ wants to bless us in the career, they're like, I have Victor Onyekere, which one is ASP? All these things is not in the book of blessings here. I can't promote you in this your field, right? So doing ACA is not HR. Doing CIPM is not HR. Doing PHRI is not HR. And we need to begin to understand this. It begins in your house. It begins in your house. How do you manage your siblings? How do you manage that annoying person in your estate that keeps annoying you? How do you manage that person? It begins from there. And that's where you practice. No business school will teach you this, right? This is not about case studies. Oh, case study. This is life hacks. So it's not a business school knowledge. It's something I've realized that no matter how many business schools I will get to, so Bumi, put me in check, please. Life is the greatest teacher. The things that happens around us in our bodies is the greatest teacher. I've been working with startup entrepreneurs in the last 1 year, and I always tell them that why your business is not organized if your body is organized. Just look at your body, respiratory system, reproductive system, digestive system. Why are you not organized? Don't you see that something is wrong with you? Your body is organized. Your business is not structured. So the truth of the matter is, HR begins with managing the people in your space who are saying, if God can just give me this massive job, if I can just become the head of HR in Shell, you are the head of HR in your house. Start from there. You are the head of HR. If you're married, you've got, Bumi, she had some of her kids coming to disturb her session and all that. Some people are fantastic HR professionals at work, but bad managers in their house. And that's the kind of conversation we want to start having. So ask yourself in the last 1 week, how did I behave? How did I conduct my life? How did I conduct my life? How do I relate with my sibling? Most of us, we're just in the house. We don't even have conversations with our siblings. We're not even connected. You are trying to, develop one employee. Have you developed your brother or your sister? That's the arenas thing. We're always looking on the external. If I can just be given one massive job to manage 300 employees, have you managed just 2 siblings that you have? You've not. So I think I need to go on LinkedIn and call some people that have PHRI, SSPHRI, or the RIs, bring them together. If I ask them questions about their families and they cannot produce a comfortable response. It's okay, we should strip them of their titles. HR is not a title, it's a calling. And that's how I want to wrap up this session this evening. It is a calling. It is not a title. It is not a position. It is a calling. And it's a calling to make an impact. See, don't always complicate your life. I don't try to do it. I don't complicate my life, all right? Don't complicate your life. Don't try to say, you know, Bumi didn't get to, when I heard Bumu's story about, I mean, when she gave a shout out to somebody, somebody featured as WCW or something. So she was talking about how that person gave her opportunity to work, you know, many years ago. Like, whoa, so this is how Bumi started. So Bumi didn't start out as wanting to be the head of HR somewhere. And we have these lofty ideas. That's good. Start simple. Listen, I don't have any deep reason. I just want to go in and make impact. And that's how I started my career path. I didn't want to have any big stuff, sit on the heads of anything. And that's how I began to climb up. The singular reason, which is to impact someone's life. That anybody, my mantra in university was, you cannot go through me without leaving you better than I met you. And that's what I've been to do in this session today. I don't want to leave anybody that interacts with you, you don't want to leave them worse than you met them. You want them to leave you better. And that's what HR is about. The truth of the matter is, global head of HRs might not even tell you this. We get lost in executive strategy, GMDs and all those things. And we forget that the real essence, because, at the end of the day, as I close it out, Bumi is already here to chase me out. So at the end of the day, what did Jesus say? This is what I'll close with. What did Jesus say? When he said somewhere in the scriptures, when they gathered, and he said, when I was hungry, you didn't give me any food. When I was thirsty, this is HR, you didn't give me clothes to wear. And then the other guys were saying deep stuff, which is, I cast out devils, I did executive level strategy, I opened 100 branches, and and Jesus is saying, that is not what we're talking about, right? You did not give me food when I was hungry. Guys, is there anything deep about giving someone food? Now, I'm not saying that start sharing food. That's not what I'm saying. I'm using that to drive home all I've been saying in the last 45 minutes or 50 minutes, that the core essence of human resource is to transform the human person. So I leave you with this question. Who is going to be transformed because they met you? Thank you, everybody.
Your audio is muted.
I was saying that we should all unmute our mics and just clap for Victor. I don't know how to just communicate. I'm short of words. I'm short of words, Victor, and I'll tell you why shortly. I'm short of words. Thank you. And you can, if you don't feel like clapping, you can just appreciate him in the comment section. Just do this first. This is amazing. This is amazing. This is amazing. This is amazing. Thank you so much, Victor. This was not what I had in mind, but my own mind is completely blown away by what you have done today. I always allow speakers to own their topics and then, go with the flow, go as the spirit leads. I was expecting you to come in today and tell us that, oh, comp and Ben, all those things that you said we can find on Google. Anyone can find on Google. What I was expecting was that you'll come in and put in some context to that. But what you've done is deep today. What you've done is amazing. What you've done is tell people what, and I was telling them earlier on, the guys here, that the people that are in the workspace right now in the early stage career, which is quite what a number of people here are, they have so much access to resources that I didn't have this kind of advantage when I was building my career. I didn't have this kind of advantage when I was building my career. I was basically alone. So everything you have said today, Victor, that they have learned in a 1-hour session are things that I learned by trial and error, are things that I learned by mistakes, are things that I learned with sleepless nights, are things that I learned when the Holy Spirit had to come and correct me and say, hey, you're on the wrong path here. This is not what I sent you to do. Thank you so much, Victor. I feel like yelling. I feel like jumping up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Thank you. Amazing. Well done. Super well done. What Victor has done for us tonight is to take us to the heart of the matter. And HR is a calling. Even me, I didn't know it was a calling until like 5 years ago or 4 years ago. I didn't know. When I started in HR, I just started and I was just going and I was just doing, until I had an epiphany and I had to draw back. I had to stop the way I was doing things. I had to understand that, Bumi, you are here for the people. That is why you are here. You are here for the people. You are here for the people and then give value to the people. Yes, the organization is also going to get value and then you get rewarded for it. But don't forget why you are here. It is the people. It is my people. It is my sheep. And it was, I'm not a minister, and I'm not a pastor. What is this, Really, what is this? But I have each day, as I take one step after another, it sort of, it sort of becomes more and more obvious to me, why I'm practicing HR and what I'm supposed to do. And so I have to also evolve as I'm moving, which is probably one of the reasons why I recently left my last job, because I now have to move to the next phase of my growth and evolution in HR. Thank you so much, Victor. Thank you for reminding us what it is, telling us what it is, and telling them. A lot of them are young in HR, 0 to 2 years experience. A couple of them have not yet gone into HR and I want to transition. And thank you for reminding us that it's about the people. Let's bring back the human into HR. I also heard when you said a lot of us are very, very caustic. A lot of HR people are very, very, you hear, when you go to that LinkedIn, you just read a lot of horror stories. And we have a lot of our seniors. Yes, Kehinde, you're very correct. We have a couple of our seniors that bring a lot of context to this discussion. They might not put it on LinkedIn, but they bring it to private HR chat rooms where, they share an experience of someone that went for an interview and then the HR person just said something really, really nasty and very, very off. I don't know why we do some of these things that we do, but with each HR person that we train, just like you have spoken to 33 people, 32 people today, and if they take what you have said and go into their work with that, that is how we start to change the narrative. That is how we start to change HR, and we bring back the human into human resources. Yes, there is a lot of technicalities in HR, but there's also a lot of psychology there. But there is, more importantly, mostly human there. Let's not forget that we are dealing with people, and they would annoy you. Let me not lie. They will annoy you. They will offend you. These people they might not even understand you. Like, generally speaking, everybody says that HR cannot be trusted. So people in organizations don't trust HR. But you just continue doing what you're supposed to do, working for the people and getting their initiatives. And, before long, you just find yourself growing. I also like something else that he says, which is, Rome was not built in a day. And he quoted an example from a feature that I did recently when someone featured me as a Woman Crush Wednesday. When I met that auntie, see, she's featuring me now on our platform, but I met her when I got into aviation in 2006, which is 14 years ago. She was already a manager and I was just a young person. And that was the first time I met her. Imagine that I was rude to her. I was just, maybe in our exchange, she wouldn't have provided me some of the platforms that she has given me to come and speak. And I didn't know then that she was going to have a platform. I was just taking one step at a time. And I find myself where I am now. And I've not even attained anything. I still have other things that I want to achieve as well. And I'm working towards these things one day at a time. Thank you so much, Victor. I completely appreciate you. I appreciate what you've done for us today. And I mean, I can't say enough about your session for today. Thank you for keeping it real. I think that's just that's the summary of what I'll just say. Thank you for keeping it real today and taking us back to the meat of the matter, to the reason why we are here as professionals. Thank you so much.
Just to put a
Unmute your mic.
context. Okay, thank
Yes,
you, Bumi.
can hear you now.
Just to put context to what I've said about, so identify one thing that you're going to do from tomorrow. Well, tomorrow is Sunday, from Monday, right? So here's what I suggest. Okay, I do it oftentimes. Identify one person that, so where you currently work. So identify somebody in a group where maybe lower level staff. It could be the cleaner, it could be the janitor, it could be the front line. So anybody, identify those people that you feel that in a way, it happens to every company. There's no place around it. They feel sort of like neglected, disconnected. Call one person and say, hi, I'm Victor, HR. I just want to check up how you're doing. Hope you're pulling through in this COVID times, and I just want to know how you're doing. I trust you're doing well. Just call them and check up on them. Now, if you can walk up to visit them, that's if you're working from the office, go to their desk and you can even just leave them a very wonderful note. I want to say, I've done this severally with the front lines because I manage them, and I've seen tremendous commitment in how they take the business. Regardless of the kind of push they get from their line managers, so they come back to me, hi Victor, just look at, I say, don't worry, so oftentimes I check in and say, hi Dele, you are doing so amazing work. Without you, and I say literally, without you, I won't have a job. And I really want to thank you for being the reason why I have a job. Because really, the work that we do not generate direct cash for the business, right? But these are the guys that are on the forefront. When you look at, let's say, an MTN, using MTN as a case study, right? The guys that they are making those calls, customer care line, selling the whatever. But the head of HR is somewhere doing strategy, right? But if those guys are not there attending to the customers, then what happens? So let's do something very simple. Like I said, don't complicate it. So everybody on this, identify somebody that you're going to call up by Monday. Hi, I am Nebechi. I just want to say thank you for the incredible work you're doing at the company. I want to say I love you and I appreciate your work. Thank you. Listen, that person might be, I know what I'm saying, I'm speaking from experience. They might be at the brink of life. There was somebody that we onboarded, sometimes in September. When I finished with them, about 60 of them, one came, Victor, I was going to kill myself after after the second day of the session. I was going to take my own life, and there were some things you said in class when you were onboarding us that made me have a rethink. So I took him on a full coaching session. We had some series of therapy, and then he became stable. He became one of the high-performing employees in the organization, going from suicidal to functional to optimal.
Exceptional.
And becoming exceptional. So it may be that one word that you say, right? In the midst of the work, oh, you're not doing your work. Hey guys, let's close this. Let's push, and all those things. Just call them. People are going through a whole lot this season. If you can send anything, please do. But I'm just saying that it starts with an arc. What is the arc? Act of random kindness. So say that every single day I'm going to do one arc. I normally say this to all my,
Can you guys still hear Victor? He sort of froze.
I think his phone is engaged in the call or something.
That's
Okay. 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 Whilst we wait whether it will come online, I'll just That was an absolutely amazing session. That was an absolutely amazing session. And what he was trying to say before he went off was just, so you really will start small. So it's not like, oh, you're just going to start with some big thing that you will do. Just start small, identify someone, or group, or just even one person. You can start with one person, and then you just start to, it's like grass that you water, you feed it, you nourish it. That's what you're trying to say. Even when you leave that organization, or when you move on, if it's just that one person that you touched, and that will be fine. I work for EPIS. EPIS was a 2,000 strong organization, and I left recently. And sometimes when the junior staff send me SMS, I'm just in awe. Like, I'm just in awe when I see some of the things that they write, and it's not like they are trying to massage my ego or something. After all, I'm not even there again. I don't even have work. So it's not like I have money to give them. They're not asking me for money, and you just say that, oh, you really touched my life. You really made me, so those things, and it makes it all worthwhile that, oh, even if in the 6.5 years I was there, this is what I did, then that will be good. And I didn't start off that way. I always tell people this. I didn't start off that way. Not like I was bitchy or anything, but I was that HR person that was not seeing the bigger picture. So I was so into my operational deliverables and all of that, and then when I'm stressed and I'm tired and I'm all that, I was not emotionally intelligent enough not to take out some of my frustrations on the next person, or whoever is the next person, that comes to say anything. I also was not a very, very good leader, as well, when I started, because I was building, I was teaching, I was also learning. That's specific with the EPIS experience. I always say I got thrust into leadership with no preparation, and I was not reading enough, because I was trying to learn the technicalities about setting up HR for such an organization. And then the organization also grew so fast. It was not an organic growth; it grew exponentially. So there was always too much to do. We never had enough staff and all of that. I'm saying all these things because somebody might find it useful. So I was doing a lot of things at the same time, and I was always overwhelmed. And I continued around that trajectory for about 3 years. And after that, I just got like a major epiphany, like, no, you're not really going. This is not why I brought you here. This is not why, we came here. And I always tell people that my job, I asked for my job. I'm not ashamed to say this on any platform. I asked God for my job, and God gave me my job. I specifically told him I wanted to transition into HR, and I did one or two things, and then that happened. And when I wanted to lead HR again, I prayed, and that came. So there's the element that is beyond your power, and there's what you will do that is within your power. So by the time God now gave me the job, now I wasn't now doing it as according to his expectations. And I had to now experience pain, I had to experience different things. But then I corrected myself, and I did a 360 degrees. Some of the other things that God that also happened were in my very low moments. In some of my low moments, I didn't see anybody, but like you'll be in like a wilderness. It's like you're alone and nobody knows you. You feel, and I saw this in some people's form, that they feel, they feel confused. They don't know what to do. They don't know what the next steps are. And that's why I'm trying to make our sessions real. Guys, take it easy on yourself, man. Don't put yourself under any undue pressure. There is only one perfect being, and that is God. All of us, all the rest of us, okay, Victor is coming back. Let me just admit him. All the rest of us are just trying, So be gentle with yourself. Hi, Victor, are you back?
Yeah, so sorry, everybody. So sorry.
No problem. No problem. So you can go ahead. You were telling us that we should identify one person and start to and just do something good for that person.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's even, I think I pretty much said that. So identify as you go into the week, write down that you're going to reach out to within where you work. It doesn't matter if you're a month old or months old there or where. Just call that person. It doesn't have to be someone that you know. It has to be and then to that, and you will be doing something. Thank you.
We can't. Okay. We didn't really hear you anyway. But I mean, we've gotten the message. We got everything that you said. He has frozen again. Wow. Hi, can you hear us? Victor?
Yeah, I think.
Okay, it's not very clear. The line is not very, very clear. But thank you so much. Thank you once again. We're all grateful for your time. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Can we all unmute our mics and say our final thank you and goodbye and blessings to Mr. Victor?
Thank you, Mr. Victor.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Victor.
Thank you, Victor.
Thank you, Victor. Thank you, Bumi.
So much, Victor.
Thank you very much, Victor. God bless you.
Thank you, Victor.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Mama.
Madam
Thank you
Bumi.
so much for making it
Thank you,
possible.
Victor. Thank you, Ma.
Thank you so
God
much.
bless you all.
Unfortunately, yeah,
Thank you,
God bless you all.
Victor.
Thank you so much. So just take it easy with yourself. But whilst I just wrap up the session, I think we should round up at 6:30. I didn't even say whether I didn't even do we have any questions to ask him? I think he's still online. Do we have any questions? If you have any questions, you can just ask. Kehinde, do you have any questions?
No, I don't have a question. Thank you,
No,
Mr.
okay.
Victor.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So guys, just take it easy on yourself. Remember, we're on a marathon. It's not a sprint. So it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Hi, Labake. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. One day at a time. Be gentle with yourself. Be gentle with your journey. Own your journey. When you make mistakes, own those mistakes and take steps to correct them. Learn from your mistakes. Don't repeat them. Find out. Read that book that he said. I have it in my library here, or in my bookshelf there. Timla Haye, How You Act the Way That You Do. I'll take a screenshot of it and then send it to the group. Timla Haye basically profiled individuals into 4 subgroups. So when I read that book many years ago, I read that book maybe about 15 years ago in my early 20s, I realized that I'm a choleric and I'm also melancholic. So when you guys read the book, you understand that's two very, very distinct personalities. So okay, yeah, choleric. Lauretta says she's choleric sanguine. No, I'm not a sanguine. I'm not very effusive. I don't like talking too much. I'm not all over the place. But then HR, because I practice HR, I had to come out and I had to become a bit more friendly and a bit more open towards people. So thank you so much, all of us, for joining in today. We've been on since 4:30. I don't take it for granted. I don't take your participation in today's session for granted. Thank you so much. I hope that we got value from our teaching today. I would like to receive feedback. If you can just put some comments in the chat box to let me know how today's session was. If there were anything else that you would want us to look into, any other learnings, you can put it in the chat box or write to me personally or write to your group leader if you're in another group. The thing about the beginner groups right now is that the 3 leaders in the beginner groups, we're all talking. And so if there are things that we can collaborate, we're collaborating so that we can make the experience richer, for the beginners. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So whilst I already have my own, the remaining 5 weeks of this month booked with the session that I shared with you guys earlier on, Nonso, for example, still has some free time. The other lady that is handling the other beginner also has some free time over the weekends. And so if we're able to get people that are not in the time that we do our sessions, which is 5 p.m. from 4 to 6 p.m. on Saturdays, then we'll just join the other groups. We're trying to get Glory to come and speak to us on LinkedIn visibility, which is something everybody should really learn. You can optimize LinkedIn to your advantage for your professional growth. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for being amazing. And so I think that will be all for today. Like I said, for B3 guys, we're going to talk about performance management tomorrow, since we didn't say much about it during the week. So we'll just talk about it lightly tomorrow, because I think Idanesi mentioned that she wanted to learn about it. And we had said that was going to be our discussion for the week. But then we didn't get a lot of feedback. I guess people are busy, so we'll just talk. I will initiate it tomorrow. and then we'll just talk briefly about it. So if you guys can just go and study a bit about performance management tonight or today before tomorrow at about 12 noon, 1 o'clock when we start. And then we just share anything at all that we know about performance management, the definition, the types of appraisals we have, the kind of cycles that we think, some disadvantages, some problems in performance management. These are all different areas under the topic performance management. So let's do that tomorrow. Thank you so much. Next week at the same time at 4 o'clock, we're going to be online again. 4 o'clock Saturday. I think that date is 8. At 4 o'clock, Team 2 will review chapters 4, 5, 6 of the John Maxwell book that we are reviewing, which is the 15 Laws of Invaluable Growth. And then after that, we're going to have Mr. Gbenga Totoyi, who is the Director of Membership at CIPM. CIPM, we all know CIPM. He's going to come to speak to us about managing our careers. Let me see, what's that topic again? Let me just say, I just spoke to him about it, that there's been a change and he has agreed, not a problem. He's very excited to come. So we're going to be speaking about, so we're saying we're going to do understanding your boss before, but we've all agreed that articulating and navigating your career in human resources is very, very critical for us. I've also told him that he will be speaking about transitioning to HR. So that's what we're going to do this time next week, 5 p.m. next week. Let's all be online. I don't know, Team 2 guys, Team 2, please, let's support and let's have a very, very great outing next week for our book review at 4 p.m. I look forward to hosting all of you. I look forward to all the learning that we are all going to learn during the remaining 4 weeks of this session. It's been my honor and an extreme privilege to lead you guys on this journey. I don't take it for granted at all. Thank you so much. So see you guys on Zoom next week, but our conversation continues on our WhatsApp groups. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. Really appreciate it.